For more than 1,000 years, the pharaohs of Egypt were absolutely obsessed with a mysterious, faraway land. They called it Ta-Necher, the land of the god. They sent these massive expeditions to trade for incredible treasures, but then it just vanished from history, leaving behind a mystery that's lasted for 3,000 years. So today, let's join the hunt for the lost land of Punt. You know, we think of the Egyptian Empire as this incredible powerhouse. But if you look at their records, they're constantly talking about this other kingdom way off to the southeast called Punt. For centuries, historians and archaeologists have all been asking the same exact question. Where was it? That's the puzzle we're going to solve. Okay, so first things first, we need to get why this place was such a big deal. I mean, what made Punt so important that the Egyptians would mount these dangerous, super long journeys to get there? Well, that name they gave it, Ta-Necher, is a huge clue. It literally means land of the god. So right away, you know this wasn't just some regular trading partner. To the Egyptians, this was a divine, almost holy land, the source for all the sacred things they needed for their temples and their gods. And the treasures they came back with were frankly legendary. We're talking gold, exotic woods like ebony and blackwood, ivory, and even live animals, giraffes, baboons, you name it. But the real prize, the absolute must-have items, were the aromatic resins, myrrh and frankincense. That stuff was the sacred smell of their temples. But here's how you know how obsessed they were. They didn't just want the incense. They wanted the source. These incredible carvings show them literally digging up whole myrrh trees, wrapping the roots so they could haul them all the way back home and replant them in Egypt. It just shows you this wasn't a luxury. It was vital. And the sheer effort involved, it's just immense. You can see these crews carrying all this precious cargo, including those heavy trees, back to their ships. These were massive, state-funded expeditions. It's all the proof you need that Punt was incredibly valuable to the Egyptian Empire. Now, of all the voyages to Punt, one of them stands head and shoulders above the rest. It gives us our best clues, and it was ordered by one of the most powerful female rulers in all of history, Queen Hatshepsut. Hatshepsut was a master of marketing. She claimed her trip was a direct order from the gods. This inscription from her temple shows the great god Amun himself telling her to go to Punt. See, this wasn't just a trade mission. It was a sacred quest that proved she had the gods on her side and was the rightful pharaoh. But let's be clear, Hatshepsut wasn't the first or the last. This was a long-term relationship. As you can see here, the Egyptians were sailing to Punt for over 1,500 years. That's an incredibly long time. This connection was stable, it was important, and it lasted for generation after generation. Now, thanks to Hatshepsut's artists, we get an amazing look at the people of Punt themselves. Here we see them led by their king, Parahu, and Queen Ati. And what's really interesting is that the reliefs show them with reddish-brown skin, similar to the Egyptians, but with totally different clothes and hairstyles. These are exactly the kinds of clues historians live for. Her artists also carved pictures of the landscape, and in doing so, they left behind maybe the single biggest clue of all, these very unique cone-shaped houses built up on stilts. Go ahead and file that little detail away in your brain. It's going to be a crucial piece of the puzzle later on. So the Egyptians left us all these incredible clues, pictures of the people, the houses, the goods, but the one thing they forgot to leave us? A map, naturally. And for centuries, that missing map fueled a huge debate. Where on earth was the land of the god? The whole argument basically boiled down to two rival theories. The first camp argued it had to be in the Horn of Africa. Think modern Eritrea or Ethiopia, because, well, the animals and the products, like ebony, are all African. Makes sense. But the other camp pointed to the Arabian Peninsula, because some Egyptian writings seem to place Punt to the north or east. So you have this huge search area, and these clues that seem to point in opposite directions. The pictures pretty much scream Africa, but some of the texts hint at Arabia. It was a complete stalemate. For generations, the debate just went around, and Punt remained completely lost. But what if the answer wasn't hidden in some ancient texts? What if the key to the whole mystery had been brought back from Punt and was just sitting in Egypt all along, waiting for the right technology to finally unlock its secrets? The most important clues in this entire investigation had been silent for 3 millennia. They weren't human. They couldn't draw you a map, but they carried a perfect chemical signature of their homeland right inside them. That's right. mummified baboons. Remember those exotic animals the Egyptians imported? Well, when the baboons from Punt died, they were often mummified. And these ancient animals turned out to be the key that unlocked the entire mystery. So, here's the brilliant part. Scientists used a technique called isotope analysis. Basically, the chemical signature of the local water and geology where an animal grows up gets locked into its tooth enamel. It's like a geographical fingerprint. All the scientists had to do was analyze the fingerprint from the ancient baboons and then search for a match among modern baboons. And the results were absolutely conclusive. The isotopes were not a match for baboons from the Arabian Peninsula. They were not a match for baboons in Somalia, but they were a perfect match for baboons living today in one specific area, modern-day Eritrea and neighboring parts of Ethiopia. After 3,000 years, science had finally found Punt. So, after millennia of searching, the case is closed. But that just brings up one final, nagging question. What happened to this great kingdom? Why did this vital partner of the pharaohs just vanish? The honest truth is, we don't know for sure. Around the 12th century BC, the trade missions just seemed to stop. Punt disappears from all the official records, and slowly over time, it transforms from a real place into a far-off land of myth, a kind of dreamlike paradise people would write about in poems. It took 3,000 years for those silent witnesses, the mummified baboons, to finally tell their story and put Punt back on the map for good. It's an incredible testament to the power of modern science to solve these ancient mysteries. And it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? The location of Punt was one of history's great cold cases, and it was solved with this amazing mix of archaeology and chemistry. What other lost cities or forgotten kingdoms are still out there, just waiting for the right clue or the right new technology to be discovered?